what are the 3 tips that I want to give you for today, right? How do you master the fundamentals of coding? Before making any important, significant decision of your life, first ask yourself, why are you taking that decision?
बताओ भाई। ये सेशन इतनी रात को क्यों रखा है भाई? है भाई?
Binod, I request not to do any kind of disturbance, otherwise you will be throwing. You will be out of the session.
Sorry.
Yeah, please. I believe ki there are no people who are a teenager. So all guys are mature enough to be in the session. So guys, please be with us. And if you can listen to me, you can hit the chat box with yep. Show some energy, guys. Come on. Hit the chat box with yep. And please do join with your register name. Good evening. I hope all of you must have spent a great day and are here to close this evening, or you can say the Saturday night, on a positive note. So, good evening, guys. Come on, show some energy, hit the chat box. So, guys, I welcome all of you to India's first late night tech webinar brought to you by MFL Edu Club called Saturday Night Gyan with Pramit Bhuyan, which we bring you every Saturday at 11. Now, before going to the session, might some of you be wondering who is this mentor named Pramit Bhuyan? So guys, I'll introduce him, but in a minute, like give me some time, still people are joining. So I think I'll have to say again and again. So it's better like So talking about Mr. Pramit Bhuyan, he's an IIT KGP alumnus and is currently working as a software architect at Amazon, and has also worked with Microsoft for more than 12 years. And he had a patent under his name while working with Microsoft. So guys, please do mute yourself. Uh, I can see some of the people. Okay, thank you, Garvit. So come on, guys, hit the chat box with excited because I feel ki all of you must be excited for today's session. So hold your seat tight for the coming 1 hour. Guys, come on, hit the chat box with excited. Show some energy, guys. Come on. Ashwin Mohan, you can directly call to the group instead of messaging me privately. I think every people want to know about each other. So okay, thank you, Ashwin.
आपको दिक्कत क्या है आपको मम्मी?
Vinod, I think like this is the last warning for you. So guys, please be patient. We'll start the session at sharp when the clock will hit 11:02. Come on, guys. Keep hitting the chat box. I can see there are around 40 people, but I can see the chat box is only filled with 3 or 4 people. Come on, guys. Keep hitting the chat box with word excited because I feel all of you must be excited for today's session.
Hey everybody, how's
Hello,
everybody?
sir.
Am I audible?
Yes, sir, definitely.
Awesome. So looks like I have a very fancy background here. How do I change this? Anyway, forget about it. But I really want to change this. Okay.
Click
While I
on the top arrow next to start video, you'll find virtual background.
top arrow next to start video.
Bottom left, towards the bottom left of Zoom window, you
Awesome.
have two options of mute and start video.
Awesome. Awesome. Thank you. Who was that?
Sumit.
Sumit. Awesome. Thank you, Sumit. So I think now my regular background is visible. Awesome. So we will start. It's 11:02. We will give ourselves 2 more minutes and then we'll begin. So welcome everybody. Just to introduce ourselves, let's do one thing. Let us in the chat box write down our names as well as the place where we are from. And I will introduce myself at the end. So let's do that. And in the meanwhile, what I will do is I'll share my screen so that all of you can see that. Awesome. So I'm assuming my screen is visible to all of you. So like I said, guys, if you have joined now, let us share our screen. Beg your pardon, let us introduce ourselves. Awesome. Cool. So a lot of participations here. Let's give ourselves one more minute before we begin. Awesome. So let me take a look at the chat box here to get introduced to all of you. Akarsh, welcome again. Shankanil, good evening. Welcome. Satyaprakash, welcome. Sakshi, welcome. Akhil, welcome. Gaurav, welcome. Abhishek, Archisman, Pratishruti, welcome back. Samidha, welcome. Gautam, welcome. Vani, welcome. Arvind, welcome. Harsh, welcome. Aniket, Prateek, Sahasransu, welcome. Vani, thank you. Harsh, Varshit, Dipanshu. Thank you, Dipanshu. Austin, welcome. Mihir, Rakshat, welcome. Debesh, Aswin, Shubham. Awesome. So a lot of participation here, guys who are joining in just now. We were just introducing ourselves. So if you want to take this chance to introduce yourself, feel free to go and write down your name as well as place in the chat box. So let me quickly introduce myself before we begin. This is Pramit. I'm a software architect currently at Amazon. Before that, I was with Microsoft for 10 years, worked in Azure, VSTS, which is Visual Studio, and Windows and CRM teams there, right? So I think it's 11:06. Abhishek, thank you for introducing yourselves. Awesome. So it's 11:06 and we want to begin soon, so we will, right? So today's agenda, if you can see my screen, is to learn a little bit about how do we might I request everybody to please not annotate. Okay. So in the meanwhile, Ayush, can you? I have joined on from another name as well, Pramit too. Can you please make me the co-host there as well? So that I can share
Sure,
my
sir.
screen. Awesome. Cool. So I hope that my screen is visible to all of you. We'll begin now. So hello again, everybody who has joined in recently. What we are doing here is I host this weekly webinar every Saturday in the night. And the intent is to guide all the students to fulfill whatever they do. And towards that, we have had webinars towards how do you plan your careers, what are the top mistakes that students make, how should you create your own portfolio before you graduate, right? And how do you plan and execute that portfolio, etc., etc. So there were some of the topics. I encourage all of you to keep joining this session, as well as the recordings of past sessions are there in the YouTube channel of MFL Edu Club. So definitely, I would encourage if you've missed some of the past sessions to go and look at the recordings. Okay, so today's session is going to be around a web app. What is web app? What is MVC pattern? and how should you plan the execution of your own web app, right? So we will actually not go a lot into code. We will briefly look at code. Maybe if I get time, I'll show you some working code, but the intent is not to look at the code today, because without understanding, looking at the code does not make any sense. So what I want you guys to leave from today is to understand, have a basic understanding of what goes into a web app. Okay, when I say web app, mobile app is very similar with slight differences. So we will understand what a web app is, what are the major components, and if you want to develop your own web app, how should you plan it out? Okay. Awesome. So before we proceed to next, like today's session, right? We had a session on how do you create a portfolio last Saturday. And I consider it very important that we must, all of you as a student must create a portfolio. This is the recording of the last session. If you have not got a chance to go through it, I would urge all of you to go through it. And the reason is this, that today's session is basically, pre-knowledge is not required, Abhishek, because you're asking me on the chat. But the reason is this, that today's session is a subtopic of last time's session. Because if some of you are planning to create your own web app towards your portfolio, then apply
Good night.
Then apply your knowledge from today's session. Okay. I hope it makes sense to all of you with that context, right? So the eventual goal is to create a strong portfolio for yourself, right? And towards that, if that includes creating a web app, you should use today's knowledge for that. Okay. Any questions, thoughts at this point of time? Please feel free to write down on the chat box. Otherwise, we'll get started with today's agenda. Okay, so let's get started, right? Before we begin, Ayush is asking, what is a portfolio? So Ayush, in last session, I encouraged every student to create a portfolio towards their career. Like, let's say if they want to be a very good educationist, like myself, right? So maybe they have some idea that they want to prototype while they are a student, right? So once they identify their passion, they need to go and implement something and create a portfolio where they can achieve much more impact than their current internships or class projects or certifications, right? So typically students just do these three. But I am encouraging all of you to create a portfolio, to create your personal project and plan it out properly. How do you plan it out? How do you execute it? Some tips, like you should create a team. You should track it properly using proper tools, right? And then you should also be very vocal about it, right? And you should evaluate yourself after every few months. So these are some of the tips that I shared in the last session, Ayush. So feel free to go through the recording of the last session that I just shared in the chat box. Okay, so I hope that answers your question, Ayush. Okay, so a question to all of you. What is a web app or a web service or a website? Any answer from all of you? Feel free to, by the way, take guesses. I'm not assigning you grades or giving you marks. Feel free to take guesses, right? What is a web app? Mihir is saying mode of representation. Garvit is saying sequence of web pages to perform tasks. Okay. Akhil is saying showing yourself in digital media. Okay. Interesting. And Akarsh is saying an application which we can launch on the web browser. Good. Good. Satya Prakash is saying web-based applications like those we find in Chrome. Good. Ashwin is saying website. Good. Abhishek is saying just like WhatsApp web. Good. Harshvardhan is saying connecting people and developer. Okay. Sankalp is saying involvement of both backend and front-end development. Okay, definitely. Manik is saying browser-based applications. Okay, good. Ayush is saying a website is showing your appreciation in open source browser. Okay, any browser. Okay. And maybe you meant application, not appreciation. But in any case, we'll discuss. Somebody is saying application software run in web server. Okay, but what is a web server? Okay, CSE and Nitesh, if I can call you Nitesh, correct Nitesh if I'm pronouncing your name wrong or if I'm misnaming you. Way of showing our idea or thinking. Okay, okay. Archisman is saying an app hosted on a web server and accessible by a browser. Good. Rakshat is saying web app is just an application we can host on web server. Good. Okay. I see Archisman is saying web server, computer serving web pages. Very good. Very good. And not just web pages, a few other things as well, right? But web server is typically web pages. So that's right. Aniket is saying any application available on internet is web app. Awesome. Any service provided on internet is web services. Awesome. Awesome. So I think Fawaz is saying web app is the easiest way to access any application. Okay. Okay, guys, thank you for taking a guess, right? And it is important to be proactive and participate in the session and really appreciate it. Ishika is saying a portfolio to make a particular task work easily in a web app. Okay, okay. So see, some of you have the idea that anything that you can host on a browser, typically a web page, like Aniket, Archisman, everybody said, right? That is a web server. Anything that hosts that, right? And some of you said that it's not just that you are hosting a website, but they talked about the use cases, right? They talked about the use cases. Now I am sharing a rough pad here just to make sure that you guys are able to see my screen. So what I'll do is, if you give me 1 second, I will just adjusting it a little bit here so that I can showcase you what I mean. Okay. Okay. So I hope my screen is, my OneNote is visible to all of you. Okay. So let me take a stab at what a web server is. I think many of you actually got it right. Okay. So let's say I'm drawing a figure here. Let's say you are here and you are working on your laptop, right? And you have opened your browser and you're looking at something. So whatever is in the browser, who is providing that? Let's say you have opened google.com, right? So who is providing that? When you open google.com, you request. And what is that request? We will not go into details of that today. We will definitely cover it in some other session. But there is something called HTTP, Hypertext Transfer Protocol. So it's an HTTP packet. It goes over the network. It goes through multiple routers. But today we will not discuss that. But eventually it reaches Google's server, right? So I'm representing with rectangle here, something called Google's server. Right? So this, and what it returns a response. So this was a get HTTP request, right? And this guy returns a HTTP response. If you don't understand what is HTTP, what is GET, doesn't matter. Okay, that is altogether another topic for another day. But what is important for you to notice, to understand, is what is this web server? So basically, and what does this HTTP response contain? It contains the actual web page, like in which it is written Google, and there is a box, and there is a search button, right? And whatever else. Maybe there is some sort of animation going on, right? So this is what this guy returns. So who returns? Google's web server. At this point of time, who understood a little bit what is a web server? Say yes on the chat. And I don't expect everybody to understand, by the way. After this, I'm going to ask who didn't understand, right? Cool. Thank you for responding. Good. I like this. People are responsive. Good. Sankalp, I'll answer your question. Just don't forget that question. Okay. Once we reach a milestone here, we will answer your question. Just remind me to answer your question. Okay. Garvit is also asking something. Yes. So basically, your collection of pages that you wish to show. Exactly. Garvit. So anything that returns the exact page that is shown on the browser, or not just on the browser, by the way, right? A lot of applications. For example, you open a application called MS Word, right? So MS Word, you might have noticed that if you have synced it to your account, when you type something, it has a facility to automatically keep saving it, right? So even if it's not a browser, it is just a MS Word that you have opened, that is behind the screen to save it in the cloud, sending it to Microsoft's web server, right? Microsoft Word web server. So MS Word has a web server. So anything that requests client applications request, and request could be like in that case, right? In Google's case, it was get request because you are just getting this page. But in Microsoft Word's case, it was save request. So save has another term for it called put. But we will not go into details of get, put, and all of that. But we want to understand what is a web server, right? So we will take an example for today. Let's say you want to create some of your website or web app. Anybody who wants to take an example, which we will keep citing through today's session? Any example of any website that you want to host in your college or anywhere? Feel free to take any example. Any website that you want to host. Anybody, take a stab. College clubs. Okay, so Mihir, right. Let's say, thank you, Mihir, thank you, Garvit. So let's say Sambit is saying, so that's fine. I think we'll halt. We cannot take all the suggestions, right? Thank you, Sambit Satyaprakash, though. So let's take something called college clubs, right? Let's say Mihir decides that he wants to create a college club. So what will Mihir do? And let's say Mihir's website looks like this. Like anybody let's say Mihir is from, I don't know his college, but let's say he's from IIT Guwahati, right? Or any other college for that matter. Let's say anybody who opens Mihir's website, it should look like this. And it should look like clubs, like coding club, like robotics club, like art club, dance club, right? So there are clubs, and once you open one of this club, it will go into another page, like art club page, right? So let's say this is the website that Mihir wants to create. So what will Mihir do? So this is the user experience. What is this called? User experience. Important part of developing your web app, by the way. User experience is also very important, also called UX, short, right? So what will eventually Mihir do? Mihir will define his user experience first, like this is how my web page will look like, right? And all of that. Then he will define his backend. What is meant by backend? Okay, so Mihir will host his own web server somewhere. For this example purpose, let's say he will host it in Azure, which is a cloud, right? Similarly, there could be AWS, there could be Google Cloud, So let's say Mihir has a service called club service. Just like Google has some search service, Word has some service. So Mihir is hosting his club web service. This is basically called a web service, right? So he is hosting a service. What will that service do? Any student, I am representing, if you can see my screen, any random student who is opening Mihir's page, right, in his laptop will send a request automatically. When they say, let's say, studentclub.com, that's where, let's say, the website is. Let's say they will first make a call on index or home or whatever you call, right? Home, let's say. So in home, what will it return? It will basically return this page. This page. Any idea how is basically this page is full of pictures, right? This page will be returned as a response when somebody types home. So any idea how is this page represented? This page has a lot of text, lot of design, lot of pictures, maybe a lot of videos, lot of table, grid, right? Nice looking picture. So how is this response that was returned from his server? Any idea how is that represented? Exactly. Very good. HTML, right? Garvit, very good. People are saying HTML, CSS, JavaScript, HTML, CSS, unique address on the web. No, unique address of the web, that is correct, Satya Prakash. But I'm just asking about this format, this response, right? Your response will be returned back by his web service. This is the web service, which knows everything about his data, like all the students that are part of the web service are stored in some database, and maybe there are other services that I'll talk about, right? There is one web service, then there is something called application service that we will talk about. We just want to understand. But this return packet, what is that format? That format is HTML. Okay, CSS is just a way of styling. But HTML, what is it? Markup. What markup language? Hypertext markup language, or what is it? I'm forgetting the formula, but yeah. Anyways, in any case, yeah, hypertext markup language. Okay. So it's a markup language. What is meant by markup language? That means there are a bunch of images, videos. How can I represent it in text? Right? Because I can only send text. But how will I represent all those images, the way it will look and feel using? So it is called HTML. So we have defined a language called HTML. There are actually other languages also, markup languages, right? But HTML is one of them. So it's the most popular, right? So this guy will return the home page. Then what will happen on when somebody now clicks on this art club link? If you can see my screen, if you are not able to see my screen, not able to understand what I am doing, immediately respond on the chat box. I will be happy to repeat. Okay. So when somebody clicks on this button, then what will happen? Then his laptop will send another request, right? What request will be encoded in this page itself? Let's say that is called get art club page, something like that, right? Get art club page. And what will that return? It will return another HTML content in the request. And what will that HTML content represent? This page. This is another page, right? So this page will go away and this page will be loaded. So here again, another HTML content will be returned. Now, if I ask you, what is a web server? Let's take another stab in the chat box. What we understood. Everybody, without any shame, without any, right? Just respond whatever you understood. Nobody is here to judge you. And you are just here to understand, right? So, what is a web server? What did you understand? Please respond in the chat box. Awesome. Sankal, Akhil, you stored there. Okay. Responding according to request by user. Good. Mihir. Abhishek is saying it is the one who responds to our HTTP request. Good. It is the one who responds to our HTTP request, right? And it is using all the stuff which is stored on its side. And it is based on the specific request that the user makes. Very good. See, all of you are combining. If I combine all of your answers, right, it's becoming a really well-rounded answer. Satyaprakash is saying, available computer, all the time available computer system hosting our site data. Good, it should be available all the time. Arvind is saying, response to our web requests. Very good. Achisman is saying, computer requesting to HTTP requests. Very good. Nitesh is saying, website is hosted. All the data is stored there. Very good. Harsh is saying, a web server is a platform to store code and data. Okay. Okay. Fawaz is saying, the host and the user. It's between the host and the user. Okay. I didn't understand you, Fawaz, by the way. Varshit is saying, server web pages based on your requests. Serves web pages. Very good. Akarshing, a place where all the data is stored in response to user's request. Very good. I think, and Sambit is saying, client give HTTP request. Okay. Shankani is saying, all the awesome. So all of you understood, have got some understanding, right? We are not saying you have understood it completely. Now, question, trick question here, right? So till now, what did we see? We saw that whenever we were making a request to, who was it? Garvit or Harsh? I'm forgetting your name, sorry. So whoever's club service, whenever we are requesting a club service, it is always returning an HTML data. Is it always correct? Does it always return HTML data? Any idea? Does it always return HTML data, or does it also return any other data? Possibly. No. Good. You're right. Akhil, Akarsh, Meher, Sankalp. So what is that? XML? No, not XML really. XML is very close to HTML. HTML is very specific to internet. XML is used for representation of any generic data, not specific to web pages. Abhishek is saying there are many other data. HTML is one of them. CSS. Okay. By the way, Akhil is saying CSS, JS, JSON. That is important point. So apart from HTML, there are some things called CSS, cascading style sheets. JS are scripts, typically JavaScript scripts. It could be other as well if the browser supports it. And JSON. JSON is nothing but like config files, just like XML, right? So those are also returned. That is fine. That is true. But they are written as part of like web page only. Servlet. Sambit is saying servlet. I think he's going towards the right direction. JavaScript, TypeScript, etc. So Fawaz, you also mean JavaScript scripts, right? So script are CSS scripts, HTML. I will combine them into one category called ki how will the website look and feel, right? That's one category. Agreed with all of you. But there is another category of data that I want to talk about, right? And that category is what I think Sambit indicated a little bit. So let's take an example. Now, in this club website, right? Let's say when art club page loads, then it will, let's say I'm zooming into a little bit art club website now, art club page. Let's say this is called IITG. I'm just taking the example of IITG because I believe that many of you are from IITG. I'm sure there are other colleges also. So definitely. So IITG, man lo ki there is in this page, it prints the list of all the members of that club, right? And let's say there is more. You print 20 pages and there is more ... So when somebody clicks on more, 20 more will be loaded. Do you know what will happen when somebody clicks this more? You will obviously get some request to get more 20 names, right? But what will be the response? Will the response be an HTML object? Anybody? I'll repeat again. Let's say the art club page looks like this, right? It has the name of all the students who are part of that art club. But let's say by default, you just show 20 students. But then there is a link called more ... When somebody clicks more, you just want to show 20 more students. Now, there is obviously some sort of request you will make to the server, web server, and it will return something. So what will it return? Will it return an HTML? HTTP response, that's correct. Archisman is correct actually, Ajax, right? It's called Ajax, but what does Ajax mean? I want to understand that. This is basically what is called Ajax, guys. But what is Ajax? What does Ajax mean, right? Abhishek is saying no. Akhil is saying yes. So Akhil, your guess is wrong and Abhishek's guess is right. He's saying no. Okay. But what will it return? If it does not return HTML, what will it return? JavaScript and XML? No, Satyaprakash. Wrong guess. JSON object. Okay. JSON object or not. It could be a JSON object. It could be something else. Typically, it will be a JSON object, but it could be something else as well. But let me take a stab at to explain you, right? So see here, right, the request that goes, this request is called Ajax. And why is it? It's just a fancy term. There is nothing specific about Ajax. We will actually look at a real code, right? It's just a fancy term. It is again just some sort of request, like get HTTP sort of request only. But instead of getting a HTML, what it actually returns is data. Now that data, basically what will that data contain? Just names of 20 students in this case. Makes sense? There is, Ashwin is saying data, right? Archisman is saying, say if you already have a web page, you want to load some more things without disrupting the current page. Exactly. So I will repeat what Archisman says, right? He says that if you already have the page, then you obviously don't want to reload the page. You just want to load some more data, right? Then obviously you don't want an HTML page because you already have the HTML page with you. All you need is more data. And when you only need data, you don't need HTML content. You don't need styling content. You need only data. You request only for data. And that is exactly what is called an Ajax. So web server, what did the web server, the club service, right, respond in this case? It returns only data. It did not return HTML. Okay. Data can be text or images. They can be hyperlinks too, right? Satyaprakash is saying, asking, can data be, this could be any data, Satyaprakash. It could be any data. It could be text or, but typically texts are, right? Typically, yeah, Fawaz is saying object-oriented, good. It may be object-oriented, maybe not, but typically it is. You are right, Fawaz. Typically it is some sort of like either if you are working in Node.js, it will be some sort of JSON object. If you are working in Java or .NET, if you are a server, then it will probably either be in JSON or XML represented, or in some older systems, it used to be some format, AtomPub. You don't need to know about all of that. But the concept is this, that the web service, if I'm drawing the same rectangle, web service, in some cases, it was returning HTML data, right? HTML is also data, but it is basically markup data. How will the web page look and feel? In some other cases, it was not returning how will the website look and feel. It is only returning just some data, because this request, right, is asking only for data. So these are two very different requests. Some requests will ask for HTML. Some other requests will ask for only data. And those calls are called Ajax, asynchronous JavaScript, something. Okay. So these calls are called Ajax. Okay. In what form is this data transferred? Garvit is asking. Garvit, it could, like I said, it could be in different forms. It could be in JSON, could be in XML. There used to be an older format called AtomPub. So depending on what technology your server is hosting, so typically it would be in JSON or XML. Okay. Abhishek is asking in the chat, Ajax and HTML are both HTTP response? Yes, Abhishek. They are both HTTP response. Typically, there are some other protocols also, by the way. We will not discuss them. There are some other protocols like WebSockets, which are not HTTP based. Okay. Which are used for two-way communication. When you want to communicate to the server, right? But like when you're playing a game or when you are uploading data, right? Or then there are other protocols like P2P protocols. So those don't use HTTP necessarily. There are some other protocols as well, but we will not discuss them today. So there are other web servers who are hosting some other protocols also apart from HTTP, right? But we will not discuss them today. I hope that answers your question, Abhishek. So now we will pause a little bit, right? So this is basically if today, after today, anybody asks you, Ki, what is a web server? What really it does? Hopefully you will have a good answer for them, right? Okay. Okay. So we have, we will now go a little bit into a sample web service. Now the sample web service could be Node.js based, it could be Java or servlet based, it could be PHP based, it could be .NET based, right? It could be anything based. But I don't want you to go into code, but I will be showing you a sample code, but I want you to understand the concepts. Don't bother too much about the code itself. I hope I'm clear. Okay, so we will not worry too much about the code. We will focus on the concepts. Okay, and these concepts will be basically around. We'll discuss a concept called MVC. Now, if my screen is visible, I hope it is. Okay. So we will focus on a concept called MVC. Anybody wants to take a stab at what is MVC? What is MVC? Chat box, please. Model view class. Slightly off, model view controller. Awesome. Model view controller, right? So this is again just a concept, just a fancy name. You don't need to remember anything there. You just need to understand, right? Because once you understand, then whether it is in Node, whether it is in .NET, whether it is in Servlet, whether it is in PHP, you can apply that concept. So I'll just show you some sample code, but don't worry if you don't understand there. Okay, this is not to scare you, just to understand the concept. Okay, Archisman already is giving good data there. Web design architecture based on layers. Okay. Sankalp Singh used to develop logic. We will go exactly discuss that. Akhil is saying software design pattern. It is a design pattern, correct. It is a design pattern specific to web apps, right? Okay. So exactly, Archisman is giving some hint at what it is. Let's discuss this in a little bit more detail. We will keep it participative. So guys, what is a view? Archisman is already hinting at it. What is a view? Look, such a complicated name, right? View. What is it? Is it a scenery? What exactly is a view? So by the way, let me quickly introduce this project. This is a sample project. View is presentation. Exactly. Exactly. Nothing but very, very simple. Exactly. Sambit, Harsh, Satyaprakash got it right. So this is basically a web API based, .NET based web app that I am showing you here. It's a sample that I have created. So see, they have created some folders, right? If you look at this, right, my screen, they have created some folders called controllers, right? And I have created another folder here, which was not created by default. I have named it controllers web API. I'll tell you what that is when we go to controllers, right? They have created another folder called models, and they have created another folder called views, right? And there are a bunch of other folders, script, results, providers. Don't worry about it. We will not even go into it. Okay. So views is nothing but, Akhil is saying, Shankalp is also saying simply the page we see. So basically simply the HTML page, nothing else. Simply the HTML page is called view. Like here, specifically in .NET, they have something called, they have created something fancy called CS_HTML. So this is, I'm going to open this just for your view, right? So this is pure HTML. Do you see? If any of you know HTML, this is how it looks like. If you, some of you don't know, never mind. This is how HTML looks like. This is pure HTML. But what is the funda of this CHTML? Basically, C# guys, they have come up with some funda like this, where by CS_HTML, they mean that you can write HTML, all the XML, basically HTML is also XML, right? That those angular bracket thingies. But inside which you can also embed CS, like C# code. So these are basically C# code embedded into the HTML. Okay. Cool. So but for to understand, right? Just understand that view is nothing but HTML. So what will be returned by HTML requests, like the initial request, right? The get student club homepage, that will return a view. That is called a view. So for every page, let's say in the club app, we had designed 2 pages at least. One was the home page. The second was art club page. So we need to create 2 views. 2 views. Any question at this point of time before we go into model and controller? 2 views. Like in CS_HTML, you can use CS_HTML. In some other PHP, you can use just HTML. In C# also, there is another funda called ASPX. Again, all these are different ways of representing the same view. Okay. But any question here? If you have, please let me know. Any question, guys? What is a view? I hope all of you understand. View is nothing but just the HTML page. Then what is a controller? Any idea? What is a controller? MVC, model view controller. First we covered view, in MVC view. Then we are going to controller. And it is important. Controller's concept is very important. But what is a controller? What is a controller, guys? You have to guess. What is a controller? Sankalp is saying one which controls the flow of data. Okay. Other guesses, please. Take a good guess. Backend that manage the context on the web page. Okay. Good guess. Backend that manage the requests and responses. Good, Rakshat. Good, Satyaprakash. Running code. Good, Harsh. Running code. So let me take a stab, right? Let's say this is your web server. Okay. This is your web server. Your college club web server, right? Now what we saw, that a request come, like get home. Then some data was returned, some HTML data. Then another request came, get art club page. Then another request was returned, which was HTML. Then another request came, get next 20 students. You remember the AJAX call? Get next 20 students. Then another, this time HTML was not returned. This time, let's say JSON was returned. So who is actually returning all of these? Right? So there are inside your server, there are something called controllers. So these are nothing but classes that you write. Classes that understand the request. They understand the request. They know what to do with that request. Now, let's say there is something called home controller. So whenever you type in your browser, student club / home or just student club, it will automatically be handled by this controller. This is nothing but a class. right? Similarly, let's say art club controller, right? So let's say you want to create your website. First, you will design the views, these HTMLs. Then you will write controllers for all your scenarios. Similarly here, it's a student controller. But there is a difference between these two controllers and this controller. Can anybody tell me what is the difference? What is the difference between these two controllers and this student controller, which is returning get next 20 students? Exactly. Abhishek is saying privately to me, what they send is different. Garvit is also saying the same, right? So these two controllers are returning HTML data or views. But this controller is returning just data, right? So there is a difference between the controllers. So again, I will share my code just to show you exactly how a sample, right? Let's see. Now, see, in this case, right, if you can see my screen, there is a controllers class. Now I'm going to open home controller.cs. This is just like a home of that web page. See, it is returning some sort of a view. And you know what will it return? View. A view for this is defined somewhere in the views folder. I will show you. I'll just cancel this. I'll go below. And in the home, right, this view. In views folder, this view is defined HTML. CSHTML, by the way, is nothing but HTML in which CS is embedded. It's effectively an HTML only. So this HTML is defined, this guy, right? Right? So basically, it is just returning a view, that controller. Just to give you an idea, you don't need to understand any code here. Like this is a type of controller which returns a view. But then there is another type of controller which I am showing here. Let's say members controller or a group controller, right? Let me click on that just to show you an example. Now see, this controller, just in .NET, there is something called API controller. If I go back to our controllers, you will see that they are the earlier home controller, right, was not inheriting from API controller. It was inheriting from controller class. So controller class is a class which will typically return your views, and API controller just in .NET. I'm talking about .NET MVC framework. You may choose to use this or you may choose to use something else as well. But here, see, this API controller class represents Ajax, right? If you see the code here, see, whenever this is a member groups controller, right? So whenever somebody calls group ID get events and then something, right? Some other start ID return count, then basically you are saying for this group get all the events. It will return only the event data. It will return only the data which I am for this method will execute and return that data. So the intent here, guys, is to give you an idea of a sample web server. One part of which is to return views. The second part of it is to return data. Now, I want all of you to understand this, and any random question that you have, feel free to ask. Let's make sure that you understand. Because if you don't understand and you go back from here, that will not be good, right? So let's have any question. We'll take that right now. Okay. Ashwin is asking, what is the difference between HTML and CSHTML? Okay. Nothing, basically, Ashwin. Basically, this is just the CSHTML is like .NET frameworks fundu way of representing HTML. So the special thing about that is inside that HTML, you can embed CS code. CS stands for C#. So you can embed C# code. Like just like you can embed JavaScript code inside of your HTML, that is called scripting, right? JavaScript code you can embed inside of your HTML. That is called scripting, and that will execute on client side in your browser. But if you embed CS code in your HTML, it will execute on your server side. There is a framework for that called Razor in .NET, but don't bother too much about it. For today, maybe it will be too complicated. But just understand that it will return some HTML content. Fawaz, this is C#. Okay, Archismar has already answered that. Good. API. Okay. Garvit is saying, I didn't get what's API. Very good question, Garvit. Thanks for asking. API stands for Application Programming Interface. API is nothing but anything that anybody can call into. Like in my diagram, right? If I can go back to my diagram, if you just give me a second. So this call, right, that was made here. This is a call, right? Similarly, this is a call, right? So these are nothing but API calls. So you can basically say API basically means any remote person, like anybody, right? Any browser or anybody who is calling your server. So anything that anybody can call into your server basically is called the API of your server. So if you want to, and what is meant by API, let me also share here. No, here, let's share. So basically, if you look at Gmail APIs, if you want to create a mail app which can contact your Gmail service, right? So Gmail has APIs for that. You can call into Gmail service using those APIs. So that is what is called an API. I hope that answered your question, Garvit, but if not, let me know in the chat. Shankan is asking me privately, there are too many requests at the same time. Can there be multiple controllers for one particular request? Yeah, no, Shankanil, there cannot be multiple controllers for one particular request. That's one. And if there are too many requests, right, you have to scale up your service. That means you have to provision bigger service, like lots of RAM, lots of CPU, something like that. That's called scaling up. Or you have to scale out. Scale out means provision large number of services. Like typically what web servers do, they scale out. So today you have one server, it can serve, let's say, 10 requests in 1 second. If the traffic is increasing, then you will provision large number of more servers. I hope that answers your question, Shankar. Abhishek is asking, Vue is HTML? Yes, Abhishek, Vue is HTML. Ashwin is asking, okay, good. Garvit is saying, so it's a method requesting. Yes, it's just a method. Like when you make a local call in your code, you call it function or method, right? When you make a local call. But when somebody remote calls you, then it is called API, Application Programming Interface. And people generally publish their API. Like Gmail has its own API and Dropbox has its own API, and everybody have their own API. Okay. Okay. So Fawaz is asking, what if I just know JS? Do I need to do HTML? HTML you need to know, Fawaz, because HTML, by the way, HTML is very, very simple. HTML is very simple. It is nothing but a markup language. It's just XML, nothing else. So it's not a language per se. It's very simple to learn because the representation, whatever you use, Node.js, .NET, Java, the representation is eventually going to be in HTML, right? So you have to learn HTML. I hope that answers your question, Fawaz. But if not, let me know. Any other question on this? Okay, no, but guys, what did all of you understand what a web server is, what a MVC thing is? MVC is nothing but view and controller we discussed. Model we will discuss in a second. It's slightly less important. But did you guys understand properly what we discussed today? Yes or no? So how many of you understood? Respond. Shankanil, thank you. Responding privately. Who else understood the basic of, right? So if somebody tells you, hey, you are going to intern with us, you need to work on controllers in the web service. Will you be able to make sense of what they say? Okay. Okay. Awesome. Next, we will go into model. Okay. And that's where a little bit database and a few other things come into picture, which I will talk about. But before we go there, if I'm sharing my screen, I'm opening a tab. I hope it's visible. By the way, by the way, guys, is AWS console. You can go and create your console. And in fact, we will have a session on cloud. So this is basically how a cloud console looks like, not for today's discussion. So let me just, I'm searching Gmail APIs, right? I'm just searching C, API reference. So Gmail has its own API. If you want to talk to Gmail service, like you say, I don't want to use Gmail app. I want to create my own app, which will internally get all my Gmail mails. So they have their APIs published. You can actually go and use all of these. Just like you use your username password to log in, you can create your own Gmail app. They have published all their APIs. Similarly, everybody, like if you search for Microsoft Word APIs, right? They would also have published their APIs, right? Word JavaScript API, docs.microsoft, right? So they have JavaScript APIs. They could have other language APIs as well, right? Okay, so there are they have their own APIs now. So everybody have their own APIs. So I hope all of you get a sense of what a web service is. API is the language that the web service talks. Like how will you request? Like let's say, how will you request a web service? You need to understand their language, right? That language is called API. That's it. Okay, what is meant by publishing API? Basically, you are publishing your API. Like you are saying, not just my app can call me, any app can call me. Gmail, when they publish their API, Abhishek, they are saying anybody can call me. Like if, for example, you want to publish, you want any student to develop their own app to call into Coding Club, then you will publish your API. If you don't want others to develop their app, you will not publish your API. Only your app or only your web page will call into your API. Then you don't need to publish. Make sense, Abhishek? Okay. So we will go back to understanding what the hell is this model thing, right? It's a slightly less important thing, but we will understand nonetheless. We are over time. We will take 10 more minutes, like pretty much every day. Okay. So what is this model thing? So model. So when this guy returns, right? When this data was returned, student, right? So typically you don't return a random data. So what you do is internally you define a class called student. Internally, inside your server, you will define a class, and that class will have fields like name, age, right? Maybe branch, maybe college, whatever, right? So, so this is a class that is internally defined, and a very similar class. And obviously, all the students are stored in some database, and that database has a schema. Schema, matlab, there is nothing. Schema is basically the table where your actual data is stored. So that table will also looks very similar to this. Like there will be a table called student. In that table, there will be fields called name, age, branch, college, right? So basically this thing here is called the model, right? So you model. So let's say now the last part is this. Let's say today, Shankanil, good question. Good question. How do we make a server? Very good question. We will, in fact, that is what we will go to discuss next. But before we go there, let's, I will be sharing my page here. Okay. So I hope we understood this. We understood this, right? So third part is this. How do you plan to create your own web app? Now, I will tell you, I'll give you the steps, like Shankar is also asking. But how, let's say today you have to plan an app for yourself. What will you do first? Any guesses? What will you do first? Take a guess, guys. What will you do first if you were to develop your own web app? Fawaz is saying, I'll make the idea. Very good. Awesome. Harshvardhan is saying algorithm, then wireframe. Okay. Fawaz is, okay, then prototyping. Awesome. Flowchart, idea. Good, good. So halt, guys, here. First is Mary saying arrange the data. No, first is your idea. First is called, that is called use case, right? Or user experience, like I talked about. Ki bhai, what is my user experience? Well, the data to will come. All the requests will go. That's fine. But what will the experience be? Because all my requests, what will the API be for you? You will define based on the user experience, right? So first you need to define the user experience. Like we did for our coding club, we first defined the home page will look like this. Then art club page will look like this. Then coding club page will look like this. Then coding competition page will look like this. So that is called user experience. You will first define that. Why? Because once you define the user experience, then you can design your backend. And what do I mean by design your backend? You can design the APIs and the database and the controllers, right? In your coding club example, the controllers were homepage controller, art club page controller, student query controller, right? Backend is called hidden part, right? That's why it's called backend, which is in the backend of the web page. And front end is called just the web page, which is visible, right? So then you will go and design the backend, right? Key the server, the actual web server. The actual web server, you will first define the views, which maps to your UX design. Then you will design the model. Bhai, in my service will understand some objects called student, called groups, called clubs, called whatever else. You can think of a few objects, right? So these objects you will call your models. And from the models, you will design your database. We will not go into database today to keep it simple, but that is how you will model. And then you will design your controllers. What are the requests that I want to serve? What are the requests? Based on that, you will create your controllers, right? So after this whole thing is coded up, next question, but how will you make it public? How will you host it? How will, I mean, just coding it is not hosting it. Right? The last part is after you've done everything, you need to host it. Where can you host it? Any guess? Where can you host it? Once you've developed, Archusman is in cloud. Very good. Very good. Web servers like AWS, not web server, it's cloud solution basically. Hosters, right? Remote server, web server, right? Some serving, some hosting solution. Typically cloud, Azure, AWS, Google Cloud, very good. Very good. Satyaprakash, thank you. Ashwin, thank you. Raksha, thank you. But web service provider, and there are others as well, right? AWS is the most popular. Then there is Azure, there is Google Cloud, but then there are lots of other hosting services, many cheaper as well. Okay. Archisman is saying you can use our own computer also with something like Apache. Good. And I was coming to that. But Archisman, will that be available to everybody? No. LAMP stack, right. Fawaz is also saying the same. With LAMP stack, you can host it on your machine, but it will be available only on your local network, only inside your NAT or network access, your NAT, right? Only in your local network. If you share your IP, guys, my IP is this 192.168.1.144, then they can reach your website using your IP. But anybody in public, in the internet, will not be able to reach your server. Okay? I hope that. And why will they not be able to reach? That's another session for another day. It's called NAT, right? So basically your IP is not visible anywhere outside. Your NAT server, there is something called a NAT server. It is clouding your local IP. Let's say in your college LAN, there are 100 people, right? Then all the 100 people's IP is the same according to anybody external, because they are only seeing the NAT server's IP. they are not even seeing your local IP. So there is no question of them being able to reach you. Okay. Okay. Good. Awesome. MERN, etc. Yeah. So there are a lot of IITG lab. That's correct. That's correct. Archisman is saying we can point a domain to our router. You can point a domain to our router. But exactly. But these domains, right? But who can give you that domain? They can be given by ISPs, Internet Service Providers. Only ISPs can give you, and ISP give you only publicly available hosts, right? So basically the point is the DNS, right? Because let's say somebody, I say archisman.com, you have hosted your server in your local, but the public DNS, which is hosted by the ISPs, will not be able to resolve to your IP, right? They will not be able to resolve to your IP. That is basically, I know many of you are not able to make any sense of what I'm saying. I'm going deep into networking concepts. We will discuss this a little bit in detail in some other session. Okay. Okay, domain registrars, right. So when you register a domain, your domain is registered in public DNS servers, but that is registered with a public IP address. It cannot be registered with your local IP address. I hope that makes sense, but if it doesn't, that's fine. Okay, Garbit, sir, these AWS, etc. provide a store or to our web pages, or do they also provide us APIs? No, Garbit, they will provide you infrastructure where you can host your web servers. You have to code your web servers. You can host it in cloud, right? So there are other solutions called websites in Azure also, where you can just host your static web pages. That's also a solution. But typically for web apps, you will need to take your web app as a whole, completely the whole code, and host it in Azure or AWS. Okay. In fact, if you can see my screen, right? See, I just created in AWS, there is something called Elastic Beanstalk. We can actually go and look at it in detail some other day, but I created a random application, a sample application here. And see, if I go to the sample application, right, here, it has hosted publicly. Like if I paste this thing here and give it to all of you, right? Okay, why am I not able to type here? 1 second. See, I just pasted a, okay. Why is my Zoom chat not responding? Okay. Guys, my Zoom chat is not responding for whatever reason. Yes, no. This is strange. Why is my Zoom chat not responding? But in any case, so a sample app that I hosted in cloud just now, and any of you actually can host it. Okay. So guys, in the next, so I hope all of you, Fawaz will come to your question. Just save it for some time. And if there are more questions, I'm here for the next some time, right? So we are ending the session here for today, but I'm here for some more time to answer any random question that you have. But today's session we are ending here. But in the next session, we actually want to see if we can help you out, any of you who is interested to create your own portfolio project, right? So we want to help you guide in any way possible. We want to discuss that with you because, like I said, the problem is in today's Indian student community is that we don't create personal projects, and we want to help you guys out as much as we can. Let's see if we can, right? So that's just a proposal. Let's meet next Saturday and see if we are able to make something out of it. Okay. So that's it. It is not an incubation program for us. No, it's not. Incubation program is where we actually help out in incubating. No, this is just a personal project program. It's your idea. We might help you in creating your team, like gathering a few of you to create a team. But what we want you to specifically help you out with is the three things that we talked about in last session. In helping you create your team, helping you track your project, and helping you guide with the how part. The rest, everything is yours. The code is yours, the implementation is yours, right? So everything is yours. It's just that we want you to give you support and see if you guys are able to take your personal projects to completion. That is it. Can I know what new is happening in web applications? Ashwin is asking a good question. So guys, the session has come to an end. But if you guys want to stay for just Q&A, feel free to, right? And I'm here for the next few minutes. Yeah, Ashwin is asking what's new in web application. Web application Node.js is very popular, and for on front end side, right? React, Angular was anyway popular from Google. React from Facebook has come, which is gaining a lot of popularity, right? And then there are a lot of other. Xamarin is a concept where you create one app and you can host it in Windows, Android, iOS, all the places, right? That's again another evolving concept on front end side. So on front end side, these are the evolutions. On back end side, there is Node.js. On back end side, there are a lot of evolution in .NET also, right? .NET Core has come. So because previously you could use .NET only on Windows machine, but .NET Core has come, which you can also use on to code on Mac or Linux also. So you can host it anywhere. So those are some important things. Okay. Sankalp is, I hope that answers your question, Ashwin. If not, feel free to let me know. Sankalp is asking how to start for backend development. Sankalp, if you are interested in backend development, right? So few important things. First is coding, right? Basics of coding, important for anything. And then you need to understand the basics of web server. I showed you the basics of .NET based MVC framework, but you could learn Node.js also. You could learn Java servlets also. You could learn PHP also. Like Fawaz was saying, right? You can host LAMP and use PHP to host your own LAMP to learn. All of that you can do. Thank you, Sumit. Appreciate you joining us. I'm looking forward to more participation from you guys. So these are, and backend may also two more important things. Database. You need to learn a little bit of databases. What are the databases? How do you define schemas? What are transactional? Right, a little bit at least. And then APIs. How can you call into other servers using their APIs? These are the things that you need to learn for backend. I hope that answers your question, Sankal, but let me know if not. Ayush, thank you for sharing the links with everybody. Appreciate. Fawaz, any prerequisite? No. Whatever I said, right? If you focus on learning that, you are good to go. It's about just doing, right? And most of us don't do that. That's a problem. We simply do what others give us as part of internships or class projects, but we need to do that. Decide something and follow through. That's it. Okay. Archisman is saying, I didn't understand the difference between public IP and private IP. If I buy a, yeah, exactly. So public IP is something that you have to buy, Archisman, and that is visible to everybody. Like, to take an example, your IP, whatever, when you do IP config in your machine, right, that is your private IP. That is actually not visible to anybody, right? Because what is visible to you is your NAT's IP, right? Network address translation, NAT server's IP. So if you just Google what is my public IP, it will show you a different IP from what you see in IP config. In command prompt, if you run IP config, it will show you a local IP, likely 192.168. something. It is a local IP. It's not visible anywhere outside. What is visible outside is the common NAT IP address. And just using that NAT IP address, nobody can reach just you. I hope that answers your question. Why not my own router, which is, whose computer is the NAT? NAT is a server. NAT is a server, right? Archisman, NAT is a server. Archisman, if you don't mind, let's answer others' question. If you can stay back, I'll definitely explain it in great detail to you, if that's not a problem. Fawaz is saying, when can we receive the link for next session? Fawaz, Ayush is here to help you out. You should, I hope you're part of, you should get an email or even WhatsApp notification, I guess. But Ayush can help you out with that. Shankanil is asking, can you please explain scaling out once again? Scaling out is nothing but you have one server which is able to respond to 5 requests. If you are getting more requests, then you add another server so that you can now serve 10 requests. That's all. That is all that is meant by scaling out. You simply keep adding more servers to respond to more requests. Shankanil, I hope that answers your question. Archisman is saying, whose computer? Yeah, it's the NAT server. It is provisioned by your ISP, Internet Service Provider. Let's say if you have taken internet connection from Airtel, then Airtel has set up a NAT server. Because Airtel can't give IPv4 address to everybody, right? IPv4 address is expensive. So it can't give IPv4 address to everybody. So for maybe a full colony or a full locality, it will just give one IP address. I hope that answers your question, Archisman. Ashwin is saying, can you please repeat about latest backend technologies? Okay, sure. So Node.js is one emerging technology. Xamarin is another. Xamarin is basically a Microsoft technology. They bought Microsoft Xamarin. Xamarin is originally another company where you develop one app, but you host it in Windows, you host it in Android, you host it in iOS. So you don't have to develop 3 apps for these 3 app stores. That's the concept behind Xamarin. Similarly, there are .NET is evolving very fast. Similarly, Java also is evolving very fast, right? So a lot of good developments. Similarly, on database side, NoSQL, DynamoDB, Cosmos DB from Azure, DynamoDB from AWS, MongoDB, very, very popular databases. Similarly, for SQL, there is Postgres SQL, there is MS SQL from Microsoft, there is Oracle SQL, obviously. So there are a lot of SQL solutions also. MySQL, very popular in the internet, right? So these are the backend technologies that are very popular right now. I hope that answers your question. Abhishek is asking, what is IP address? IP address is nothing but your computer's address. Like you have an address, right? You have an email address, you have a home address. Similarly, computer IP address, like if you just type ipconfig, CONFIG in your command prompt, it will show something like 192.168.1.138. So that is just your address of your computer. That is what is called IP address. IP stands for Internet Protocol. Okay, Arvind, thank you, appreciated. Archisman is saying, okay, understood. What about IPv6 address? Where can I? So Archisman, I love networking. I will definitely host. I have hosted a lot of sessions on networking where we know about the fundamentals. And if I host, definitely feel free to join. Okay, awesome. Thank you, Ashwin. Thank you. Yeah, Sankalp asked ping. Yeah, ping is just a ICMP, Internet Control Message Protocol. It's just a type of packet. So what does ping do? Ping basically comes from ping pong. Like I'll ping you, you pong me, right? So if you are hosting a server and you support ping, so you also have to support ping. Not all servers support ping. So if you just write ping google.com, ping space google.com, you are sending an ICMP packet. It's a special packet to Google server. Once Google server receives it, it will respond. That is called Pong, right? It will respond with ICMP response. So the intent of that is you are just checking, is Google server alive? Is it running fine? Just to check that, right? You just simply say ping google.com. So google.com, if it is alive, it will send you an ICMP packet back saying that, yes, I am alive, fine, running. You can actually use me. Hope that answers your question, Sankalp. Akarsh is asking, I am starting phase in this world. Good, always good to start. I just know C, Java, Python. You just need to know one language. Pick one, you're good. How should I move further? Java is good enough for everything. Akarsh. Mastering in one programming language or taking a project, learning all the things required. Yes. Yes. So I think it is supremely important to take up one project and learn whatever is required for it. But definitely you don't need a lot of languages, by the way, right? Once you learn one language, the basics of it, you can use the concepts in pretty much all the languages. So I would say focus on one language, but take up a project and learn whatever is required for that. Because end-to-end delivery is super important, and not just super important. Once you deliver end-to-end right, your portfolio will become super powerful. You will get very easily placed, but you have to be committed to that project, right? Hope that answers the question, Akash. But if not, let me know. Okay, Sankalp is asking how ping is so fast, like 54 milliseconds. How everything is connected, like those databases are connected to each other. No, databases are not connected to each other. But ping is very fast because internet is very fast. Yeah, internet goes at electromagnetic speed, at the speed of light, almost. Right. So when you say google.com, the Google server actually responds to you in that like few milliseconds, right? When you say Google search, so much data is immediately responded to you by Google server. So it's very fast. But also Google or all these popular sites, they have multiple servers, by the way. They have servers hosted in India, in Europe, in North America, South America, Africa, everywhere they have servers. So it's faster. But even if like some service does not have server in India, it will still not take more than a few milliseconds or at best a few seconds. Okay, Nitesh is asking, how can I learn get, post, put, etc. in detail? How do they work? This is nothing but HTTP, Nitesh, and you don't actually need to understand. Actually, first you understand the web service basics. Maybe take up Node.js or take up ASP.NET MVC that I was showing, or take up Java servlets, right? So if you just implement this internally, they use HTTP, get, put, post. But you don't need to necessarily know HTTP as such beforehand, right? You can still host a web server without knowing the details of HTTP, because HTTP happens on the wire. You don't need, it is not visible to you. You simply say give return list of 20 student classes. That's what you say in your code. In your code, you don't deal with HTTP or anything. I hope that makes sense, Nitesh. Let me know if it doesn't. Okay, Ashwin is asking, I have little knowledge in PHP, but I heard that Python is more evolving, more used in web server. Good. Is it good for starting Python for future? No, I think if you want to deliver a project, if you want to use PHP, PHP is good enough. Facebook was completely written in PHP in the beginning. Now they have their own version of PHP, by the way. But initially, Facebook was completely written in PHP only. So PHP is super powerful, super good. You can learn Python additionally, very useful in machine learning and all. You can learn, but don't wait for learning for Python in order to implement your project. I hope that makes sense to you, Ashwin. But let me know if it doesn't. Okay, Abhishek, how to make web services? You can make web services using Node.js or ASP.NET MVC that I was showing, or using PHP, or using Java servlets, or using, so there are multiple technologies. You don't need to know all of them. Just pick one, maybe Node.js or maybe ASP.NET MVC. I hope that answers your question, Abhishek. Akarsh is asking, it takes a large amount of time to understand every language needed for a project. Exactly. And unless I don't know everything used, I am not able to imply what I want. How should I? Very, very good question, Akash. Totally, I was there when I was a student. The point is this, that you focus on only one language, and if you have a specific problem, ask around. Like ask to experts, ask to others, friends, experts, mentors, right? Ask around. I have this specific problem. I have to design this HTML and I have to design, I am not able to decide what should I return upfront in HTML, what should I return through AJAX calls. I'm not able to decide. Ask around to somebody who understands, right? Abhishek, HTTP is Hypertext Transfer Protocol. It's just a language, just like English, right? Over internet, you talk through HTTP protocol. That's it. It's just a sort of a language which is used in internet. And it has things like get, put, post. Okay, Sankalp is saying, can I make a network attached storage at home? If yes, how? Yes, you can. So you can host your database in cloud. make that publicly available. You have to pay a little bit for that. But for first year, probably it might as well be free. And you can, once you have a public IP address, you can connect to it. As long as you have the credentials, the username, password that you created, you can connect from your home machine also. I hope that answers your question, Sankal. Satya Prakash is asking, what are the basic must-learn languages to make? No such basic must-learn language. Any JavaScript is good, Java is good, PHP is good. Anything is actually good. I would say if you are confused to learn which one, you learn Java or JavaScript, one of the two. I hope that answers your question, Satya Prakash. Awesome. Akash, thank you. Sahasransu is saying you did mention about Google servers being present at various locations. So when we ping google.com, which server does it ping? Very good question. Very good question. So there is something called a DNS server, right? So they have, and there is another thing called CDN, right? CDN is content delivery network. So both these are used to decide which server will you reach out to. So CDN optimizes. CDN will make sure that it is reaching out to your local server and not the one in America. It's called CDN, Content Delivery Network. And CDN solutions are also there. You can create your own CDN also. You can host it in Azure, AWS, etc. Okay, Satya Prakash is asking, we need to learn a single language or more. Single is good enough. I recommend single. First, get good at one language rather than learning 3 languages. I hope that answers your question, Satya Prakash. Okay, any more questions? Sankalp is asking your views on in-house 5G technology. Okay, I think it's difficult. Huawei has large number of patents on that. Akhil is saying thank you. Thank you, Akhil. Appreciate you attending and keep attending, keep interacting. Feel free to reach out to me on LinkedIn if you have any question. Shankalil is saying you are about to tell how we make a server. Yeah, Shankalil. So you have to first create your server using either, thank you, Akhil. Appreciate it. You have to first code up your web server, right? Using Node.js or ASP.NET MVC or Java servlets, right? Using one of these frameworks, you have to code up your server first. Second, you have to host that in cloud. How do you host it in cloud? I was showing, like one example is this. Like I just hosted this random website in cloud, in AWS. So it is actually hosted. If you actually go there, right, you will able to see. You will be able to see that website. You will also be able to see that website. So this is the website. I just pasted in chat. If you click it, right, I have actually hosted it in the cloud. So it's visible to everybody. Okay. Okay. Ashwin is saying, can you tell about what exactly is a software architect's job? Sure, Ashwin. As a software architect, basically we design end-to-end softwares, like solutions, not just one server, right? Solutions spanning multiple servers, which cater to some use case, one or more use cases. Like I talked about a lot of web servers. Behind one web server, there may be multiple servers, right? So who designs all of that? Who designs all the databases? What kind of databases will be used? What kind of things will be hosted? How will we scale it up? Right? All those things. Who does that? Basically, a software architect does that. I hope that answers your question, Ashwin. Good question. Appreciate that. Dipanshu, finally, Dipanshu is talking on chat. Thank you. How were you writing? You have touch laptop, a good like copy pen. How were you writing? When was I writing? As in this? I am writing on my keyboard here. Okay. I hope that answers your question, Dipanshu. But if you were asking something else, feel free to know. And I have 2 laptops here, by the way. One where I was sharing the code, and the other where I was showing and the drawing I was using mouse. I do have a touch for that, but I wasn't using it. Okay. Abhishek is asking, can you explain MVC once more? Awesome, Abhishek, I will. Just hold on for 1 second because it's a slightly longer answer, right? Just hold on. Sankalp is asking, which operating system do you go back for backend, Mac or Windows? For a personal thing, I have, in fact, one I'm using Mac, the other I'm using Windows, but for backend, typically you use either Windows Server, or you use Linux, like, or maybe containers like Docker or something like that is also very popular. Okay, Abhishek, hold on to your question. I'll explain MVC to you once more, but just hold on. Shankani is asking, I didn't have a pre-knowledge of today's topic, but thank you for making it interesting, simple. Awesome, thank you, Shankani. And feel free to, if you have any question, follow up, right? Feel free to keep asking, not a problem. Abhishek is saying M in MVC. Okay, M is model. Basically, when you say return 20 students, what is that student? What do you mean by 20 student? That is model. By student, I will have name, age, branch, college. These 4 things are part of my student object. That is what is called a student model. Similarly, you will have a club. Like in my club, there is art club, there is coding club, there is a dance club. So you will define a model for club. There is name of the club, number of members of the club, type of the club, and so things like that, right? So this is an object. Like you define your code, you define an object, right? Basically that object, representation of the object, because there is nothing called a club object, right? But you define a club in your code. That is what is called modeling. It is exactly class only. It is a class only, but a class which represents a real life view or a real life part of a view. So you define those classes which are called models. And the same class you will store in database also. So that is called modeling. Okay. Okay. So Dipanshu is saying, okay. Awesome. Okay. Thank you for clearing that up, Dipanshu. Awesome. Satyaprakash is saying, what is it that decides whether to present a web page in mobile view or desktop view? So you can create the same web page which will render in both. It's called responsive app. Like frameworks like Bootstrap and all are very popular. You can use them to automatically do that for you. But if not, there are views also. You can also define that this will be rendered only in this small form factor for mobile, or it will be rendered only in big form factor. You can also define that in UI. I hope that answers your question, Satyaprakash. Akhil is saying, there are many copy paste things, like we can do some website using Wix and many more. Is it worth it? Okay, Akhil. So in those things like WordPress or Wix, you don't have a web server. They have the web server. So what is the disadvantage of that? That you cannot have your backend logic. You cannot have custom backend logic. So you can do only small things like put some pictures, images, put some videos, put some text, but that's it. But custom logic, like I want to store the details of all the students who registered with my club, you can't do that. Right? So for all the custom logic, you still need to have a backend server hosted. I hope that answers your question. Okay. Ashwin is saying, can you share your interview experiences in Microsoft and Amazon, like the questions they asked? Best for the company. So sorry, Ashwin, that will be a conflict of interest, and I am not at liberty to discuss that in this session. This session is for you guys, to help you guys create your career, but not with specific interview inputs around Microsoft Amazon. I am sorry again, but I hope you understand. Sankalp is asking your views on Google Stadia. I have never actually used Google Stadia. I know about Unity framework and a few other frameworks. There is this other game engine I'm forgetting, which I had tried to code on, but I have actually never heard much about Google Stadia, Sankalp. So sorry. Thank you, Ashwin. Abhishek is saying creating everything except HTML is backend. Yes. And even the returning part of the HTML is also backend, by the way. Like the controller which will return HTML, that is also backend. Just the showing up of the HTML, that is called front end. How will my thing look like? Will there be a picture on these two sides? Will there be a table in the middle? Will there be a chat box in the middle or a text box in the middle? So the look and feel is called front end. Awesome. So I hope that answers your question, Abhishek. Awesome. So any other question that folks have? Awesome. Thank you, Sankar. Cool. Thank you, Ashwin. Thank you, Abhishek. Thank you, Akhil. So keep joining, or even if you don't join, feel free to ask me any question offline in my LinkedIn also. I would love to answer any question that anybody has. Okay. Awesome. Thank you, Abhishek. Yeah, we've been hosting it for a few weeks now. Thank you for joining. You guys make it interesting. Thank you, Meher. And it's already 12:40. I know you guys also have to go back and, if not sleep, definitely do something interesting. So we will close it here. Thank you guys for attending. Awesome. Bye-bye. Good night.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
So if you want, like, you can leave because I'll take 1 or 2 more minutes to wrap this session up.
Sure. Thank you.
Might be they will have non-tech session. Might be they will have non-tech question with me. So like.
Sure. Thank you.
Thank
I
you, sir.
appreciate that you are also here for so late. Bye-bye.
Sure, sir. Thank you, sir. Goodbye, sir. Good night, sir. So guys, if you have any question regarding non-tech part, then you can definitely ask me because I'm not good at tech. So I'm wrapping the session in a minute. Thank you guys. Stay at home and be productive. Don't waste your time. Utilize your time wisely. I'm wrapping the session in a minute. I've shared all the necessary link in the chat box as well as in the WhatsApp group.
Okay.
Yeah, Ashwin, do you have any question?
No,
Okay, fine.
thank you for arranging this amazing opportunity. Thanks, man.
Sure, definitely. Like it's a regular Saturday night session. You can join us at 11 every Saturday.
Okay.
So we are
Hello?
coming up with various.
Hello.
Yeah. Who's
Yeah.
this? Yeah,
This
Shankar.
is where can I get the WhatsApp link if it is there, like the group link for the
Uh,
meetings?
how you, I think you might have received a mail or something like that. Since you have registered the form, like you must have received a mail. And in the mail only,
Okay.
WhatsApp group link is mentioned. So you can go through.
Okay, I will check it once again. Thank you.
And yeah. Dipanshu, I'll have to check like since there are a lot of requests which is in the pending. Okay, I'll check. Dipanshu, shorted, I have accepted your invitation over LinkedIn.